This week's guest is podcaster, sports producer. She has produced digital content for some of your favorite athletes and has even covered the Olympics. She's also one of my best friends. Please welcome Sarah Jenkins.
Instagram stories did not exist until my fourth year of university. It's like I got laid off. Like the company just said, we don't have these jobs anymore. So I challenged myself to 3 videos a day on TikTok for the past 5.5 years. It's like over 5,000 videos. It's crazy. I've never done trends. And also I've never like gone viral. Number one thing I always tell them is just like tangible hard skills. I think good content comes from like the storytelling and who you are and how you're doing it rather than just like, I don't know, spending hours adding this like effect in this. You know?
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me. By having me, I mean in my apartment.
I love this setup and I invited myself over, so I'm really happy that you're here.
It's the best.
Okay, well, for the audience that doesn't know, can you give us a quick overview of like who you are and like how you would describe yourself? Because I always describe you as like a multi-hyphenate because you do so many
I
things.
appreciate that. Yeah, I never know how to describe myself. I just recently, this like sounds so like, I was just in an article in Elle, but like it's the only way I can describe it. But in the log line, she described me as a multi-hyphenate. I'm like, okay, I think that's how I have to start describing myself moving forward. I formally introduce myself as a producer normally because I feel like producer covers it all.
It does.
Because like even if you do like own your own company or you own like or like you do other things, producer like embodies it all. And if somebody knows what a producer does, they're like, oh, got it. I know what you do. You do everything. Exactly. So that's how I normally describe myself. But for those that don't know, I'm also a creator, influencer. I don't love that word, but influencer, creator, producer. I'm also a content consultant, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like I work with brands and athletes one-on-one to help them with their content. And yeah, multi-hyphenate I think is the only way because like some days I'm working with like country music, some days I'm working in sports, other days I'm doing podcasts. I also have a podcast. I always forget that part. I always forget to say podcast host as well. This is coming on 3 years of talking fast. So yeah, I know, crazy, right?
That's insane.
Crazy. 3 years consistently. We just passed 100 episodes. So like,
oh my God, congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
I saw you just had Starbucks Canada on as a sponsor.
Yeah, we did. It was big.
That's a big one.
I'd say we've turned the corner on the podcast. Like we were pitching for sponsors forever and like trying to convince people to sponsor a podcast. Specifically in Canada, I just don't think it's like the same like hype, same vibe. Like the market just, we're always a little bit behind here. Like it takes like 5 years for them to like fully understand what's happening. And now we're like, we've had sponsors the last like 4 weeks of episodes that are like sponsoring the specific episode, not just ad reads. And I just think that's finally shifting and turning. We had Best Buy, we had RBC, Starbucks, yeah, like big brands, which is crazy.
Good for you.
Yeah. Amazon,
Congrats.
we did an Amazon partnership, so it's finally turning there. But yeah, I always forget to mention I'm a podcast co-host as well because that just feels like it's like a fun extra thing, you know?
Do you think that's like a longevity play with pods or like what do you think it is?
For me specifically, the reason I started it was because like, you know, I vlog on TikTok. So my vlogs on TikTok are like a minute long and I didn't want to go to YouTube because at the time I just felt like I didn't want to start editing YouTube vlogs. It takes way too long. Plus also it's the same type of content as TikTok. So I just didn't want to like do both. But I always wanted to have a podcast. I mean, like, you know, this, I tried to start one like years and years ago in like 2019. And so like, I've always tried to start one. So once I had the audience, it then made sense to start it as a way to have a platform for me to like voice opinions and talk about things longer form than just like 1 minute on TikTok was the like main antithesis for it starting. And then it started as like an interview style show, like talk show style. And then now it's shifted more into just like lifestyle, just Jacob and I talking and sitting on this couch and like shooting the shit. And like we've been getting the best feedback since that it's like people just want to listen as if it's like their friends having a conversation. And we just like talk about pop culture, what we're doing that week. And like we give our opinions on life and kids and weddings and like running and everything that we're doing in life. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to keep doing it until I don't enjoy it. And I still enjoy it. So it's fun. So I'd say longevity play in the sense of like, yes, but the reason I started it was because I wanted a longer format.
Yeah.
To think that it's already been 3 years, which is crazy because like, you know, the average podcast lasts like 3 episodes.
8
like,
episodes.
It's insane. And so the fact that we have over 100 already, and that what's crazy is over 100 and just now we're making money off the podcast. I've been losing money off the podcast for 3 years. I just need everyone to understand that. And I was okay with it because it was like a brand building play. And like we've done live shows, which is really fun. And like, that's the purpose of it. But yeah, I've been losing money off it for 3 years. I'm just now making money on the podcast finally.
Okay, well, I wanted to have you on. First of all, I appreciate the honesty. And I wanted to have you on because you obviously have like an amazing career in media. So the reason why this podcast kind of came to be is I went and spoke at Condé Nast School of Design and like fashion in London with two of my girlfriends that I was podcasting with at the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
They're amazing, like some of my best friends. And basically one of the women there, she like came up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, like I loved your take on XYZ because you're very like honest and you're approachable and you don't seem like an old stuffy kind of like
Mhm.
businesswoman
Yeah.
that like I can kind of like actually like relate to you." And so I was like, "Okay, I want to start this show where it's like 50% who the guest is, like your background so that
Mhm.
women kind of can see that framework. And then the other like 50% of it is more like, okay, like let's break down like content consulting."
For
So
sure.
if like someone wanted to have their own kind of like platform or wanted to like have their own TikTok career or whatever, what that actually looks like
How to
instead of
tangibly do it instead of like
exactly.
gatekeepy and like whatever.
Exactly. How did you start your career? How did you like break in? I obviously know this because we're friends, but like give us the like quick version for people who don't know.
For me, like you and I went to school for like more traditional television production,
Actually, fair. I
which
never
is
even
crazy. When
thought
you think
about
about that, like
that.
we went to school and we're like, oh, like
TikTok
RTA, it's
didn't
how
exist.
TikTok didn't no.
No.
Instagram stories did not exist until my 4th year of university, meaning you had already graduated by the time Instagram stories came
That's
out, which is crazy to
insane.
think about.
Yeah.
So like jobs that like didn't even we couldn't even fathom or exist. Like I was like trying to go to VidCon as a conference because I wanted to work in YouTube at the time. So I was like, YouTube's the future. And they were like, we don't teach YouTube here. Like that's how old we are and how long ago we went to school. And like we were there in the peak of everything shifting. So when my first job at a school was as a video producer at Yahoo, which was like strictly a digital publication. Obviously, people know what Yahoo is, but at Yahoo Sports. And that job was the reason I got hired is because I could shoot, edit, and be on camera and make social posts and do like Instagram and graphics and stuff like that. And that was like the best first job for me because I did a little bit of everything. And I started working in podcasts then. Like I started producing podcasts, and that was my first like foray into that. Like it was a perfect job because I learned how to do a little bit of everything very early on. And I was there for like 2 years before I got laid off.
That was so true because that's why I got hired at my job too as like
Mhm.
a graphic designer for a
Oh,
content company where I was doing editing like decks, I was editing ads, I was creating content for their in-app stuff. Like I was doing
yeah.
literally a little bit
You
of
have to be
everything.
able to know, and also you had to be able to know how to do it because the second a new platform came along, you need to be able to take those skills and be like I remember when like Instagram allowed 9:16 video and it was no longer square video because all the videos I edited for podcasts were
Yeah.
square or 4:5, which is
Oh
crazy to
my
think
god.
about, right? Like we forget that we had to do that as
Forgot
recently
about
as like
that.
6 years ago, like not that long ago.
This industry changes so
It
fast.
changes so quickly. And so for that to be where I started, and then I like went back to traditional television after my time at Yahoo. And then I was also part-time working. I went freelance and I was like working like 3 different places because I gotten laid off in December of
I
2019.
remember these
Yeah,
days.
that was crazy.
Yeah, but you took it well.
No, I knew I actually just spoke to a group of students like last week and they were like, "How did you have the courage to like like post?" Because tweet, it was like Twitter, like sports Twitter was really like how like where I was big and more well known. And they're like, "How did you have the courage to like tweet that you got laid off?" I'm like, "It wasn't like courage, it was strategy." Like I knew that
That
like
part.
me tweeting like I got laid off because I didn't get fired, right? Like it's not like I didn't do something, right? It's like I got laid off. Like the company just said, "We don't have these jobs anymore. Here's your severance. See you later." So I wasn't ever embarrassed about it and embarrassed to talk about it because I was like, well, screw you. I'm going to go get another job then. And so I tweeted it. And then by that night, I had emails from like every single major network in this country offering either like part-time work or like a meeting to then like be able to meet with them to try and find full-time work. So that's what shot me into freelance work where I was working at Sportsnet Uninterrupted. And I was also working at CBC on the weekends doing television. I was working literally more than I was when I had my full-time job. I was working 7 days a week. And then that was 2020. And then the pandemic happened in March. So I'd lost my job once in December. And then I finally figure out freelance. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like making my way. And then a freelancer was the first to get cut when the pandemic happened
Of
because there was no
course.
sports. So I then lost all my work again. In this time though, TikTok had like started rumbling. Is recently as November of 2019 when I was still at Yahoo, I said to my boss, I presented him a TikTok strategy. I was like, I want to start using this app. Like, let me be like the face of our TikTok account. Like, let me start to build it. It's like everyone's rapidly growing. And he told me at the time, we do not need another subpar platform, like performing platform. And I was like, okay, that was my first red flag. So like things are going downhill because he was so innovative and like down for like the next things. I knew something bad was coming because I was like, why are you not letting me do this? And lo and behold, it was because I was going to get fired 2 weeks later.
So
And
he told you
he
no.
told me no.
And he did that so that you wouldn't like waste your time.
Essentially, I think. He didn't know it was for sure gonna be me, but he just, like, knew things were about to change,
Yeah,
and
so he's
so
not gonna throw
he's
more
not gonna throw
cash into
money into
something.
something
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So then but I took that at like, I know that now in hindsight, but 23-year-old me was, like, chip on her shoulder, like, "Screw you, I'm gonna do it myself then." So then I started posting on TikTok myself. Like, I have videos of me at the office, and I have a video of me at the office screwing around the night before I, like, got laid off, like, just, like, messing around on a video, and I was just learning it because I wanted to, like, learn the platform. And so I started doing it more when I was freelancing. I did like day in my life vlogs as recently as like, or as early as February of 2020 when I was like working at Sportsnet. That was my first day in the life. And like, that's what the first one that gained traction. And then, so then when I lost all my work, I was like, okay, well, I have no will to live and nothing to do if I don't have a job. Like, unfortunately, that was my life. Work was my life. And so I was like, I need a reason to wake up in the morning. So I challenged myself to 3 videos a day on TikTok from the day that I lost all my work. And we were in like the 2-week, like alleged 2-week,
Yeah,
like whatever
shutdown, yeah.
shutdown. And then I just never stopped. And now I've posted on TikTok every single day for 5 years, 5.5 years, actually. I don't post 3 times a day anymore, but 5.5 years later.
You post every day.
Yeah, yeah. Like very rarely I'll miss a day. And it's usually just because I'm like tired or cranky. I used to never miss a day. I used to post 3 times a day every single day. And then I went down to 2 and now I'm just 1. Sometimes I post 2 times a day, but usually at least once every single day for the past 5.5 years. It's like over 5,000 videos. It's crazy. I have them all in a Google Drive. I have every video I've ever posted. Yeah.
Is that like now at this point you're like, this is obviously it's your job.
Yeah.
So yeah. But is that also just like, this is for me, I want to document my life. I love this.
Yeah.
Like what's the psychology there?
I don't know. That's like a great question. I think it's kind of both. I've always loved creating videos and like editing and like documenting things even when I wasn't like an influencer. Like I like really took pride in like when I went on vacation taking beautiful photos, or I really took pride in like ensuring that I had like really good Instagram stories or whatever. And like, I used to work for Budweiser and I was like the beer campus rep, and part of that was social media thing. And I made sure I had like the best like Budweiser branded stuff and like social media posts. And like I basically was like a little marketing tool for Budweiser at the time. So that was my first foray into it.
Your Labatt journey is crazy.
I know. The Labatt lore goes deep. It goes deep. The Labatt lore goes deep. But it's like all of that stuff and I used to make YouTube videos when I was like in high school, and I loved film class and like editing, and like all of it like led into this, so it made sense. Like my sister said to me when I asked her like early on when I started getting an audience on TikTok, I go, "Is this surprising to you that I've like become an influencer?" She goes, "No, like you've always been doing this. It's just like people weren't watching before. Like I've always been creating stuff. It's just whether people were actually paying attention or not. And now they are. Like there's high school vlogs. I was the vice president of student council, and there is vlogs that I made for the entire school. Like we had a series of every assembly. It'd be like Sarah's vlog.
Can you send
started
this to me?
the
I'm gonna
assembly?
overlay it.
I don't have them. I don't have them anymore. I wish I did. But it was like the assembly would start with Sarah's vlog from that week in school.
You're
like,
kidding.
So like I've been vlogging. I just wasn't. People didn't know. It's like people in my hometown probably like, this is like that annoying girl always vlogged, and like no one was watching though. And just took the right platform. And TikTok ended up being like, it's all timing, right? Timing, place. I had the creative freedom, all of that stuff. But it's funny, I was talking to my sister.
But it's timing and work ethic.
Well, yes, for sure. My audience grew like a YouTube audience. My audience never grew like a TikTok audience. I had a few viral videos, or like
You have some bangers.
some like things that have like popped off at least like once a year. There's usually something that does, but I've never had my friends all on TikTok had like one video that they got known for, and they gained like hundreds of thousands of followers overnight. Like that was early TikTok, like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
You could post one video and your life could change overnight. I never had that. And in the long time, I was like really envious of it, but now I'm very grateful for it because I've had like such a small, consistent growth of an audience that like they've stuck with me the whole time, and they're very highly engaged. So like my audience is like smaller, but they're like really mighty, which is why I can like charge more for brand deals, or I can like work with like the biggest brands because my conversion rate's really good, or like the people that follow me really care about me and my life, not like a specific trend or video that I did.
That's a really good point. And you're lucky, because I would hate to have been like, I can't picture you being known for like a dance trend.
Or like, well, when I don't dance, but like, can you imagine if like, yeah, like if I did one style of video, like I always said my biggest fear is like if I like made a type of video that I didn't really love, and that's what I became viral for, and then that's what I had to keep going back to the well and doing. Like at a certain point, like I would just get so sick of that. Like, so I'm happy I never had that. Thank God. Like, look, would like tons of followers be great and all that, whatever. But I would rather have like a small like really dedicated audience that converts.
The girlies come up to you in public too. It's
A lot,
iconic.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
when we're
it's fun.
out and
Yeah, it's
hanging
fun.
out.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm like, are you Sarah?
Yeah.
My brother's friend Alex texted him and was like, Jade, I saw you on Sarah's pod. I'm like, thanks.
I love that. You're like, thanks. I've
Thank
been
you.
knowing Sarah.
I've been
I know. It's
I've
also
been
because my
knowing
audience
Sarah.
is so Canadian and
Oh,
so
it's so
and so like Toronto heavy that it's like,
Mhm.
which is great, but like even like a place like Halifax or Calgary and stuff, which is amazing.
Really?
Oh, like Halifax arguably is probably like the place where you recognize the most.
Oh,
That and Calgary. Calgary was crazy too.
that
I think it's
seems
just like Canada. Like those are like the demographics of cities that are like the most
it feeds your
popular. Yeah,
content.
exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to switch gears and talk about the athlete stuff that you're doing because I think it's a really interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think athletes are doing well and not so well on social? Like, what's your kind of approach to working with athletes?
Well, like many things in life, every athlete is different, just the same as every sport is different, whatever. But I will say at its core, so for the audience, for what I do is I basically took my creator job and my sports producer job and like made a new job that didn't exist, at least here in Canada, in doing like athlete content consultation. So that means a million different things. Some athletes, I literally run their social page for them completely.
Mm-hmm.
Other ones, I just support by like helping give a seminar and then I like help them like brainstorm. Like I have a few National Sport Organization seminars coming up over the next few weeks where like all their athletes will sit and like they ask questions and I help them talk about branding and like content ideas and like whatever. And then some, it's like they just want an initial consultation and then they're like, oh, nope, I'm good. I've learned. They just like want someone to talk to you about it. So it really depends. And then I work with athletes a lot on branded content as well, because that's like a space where with sponsorships now, they're not creators, but they're expected to be
I
because they're
know.
like, oh, like you're going to sign this big Nike deal, but you also need to do like 2 TikToks, 3 reels, like whatever. They're not creators. Like they don't know how to shoot and edit and they don't have time to. Like athlete schedules are insane.
Right.
So I would say what athletes do really well is they're so coachable. Obviously, it makes sense. They're coachable and they are so competitive. They want to do well. Like, so that's what they don't like about social is like if they don't have the time and effort to put into it, they don't like if it doesn't look good. They don't like if it's not good because they're competitive. Like
They want the numbers
they want the
too.
numbers. They
Yeah.
want to be the best at everything they do. And that translates into content as well. So because they're coachable and they want to be the best, they're really eager, which is great. So like when I'm suggesting things or when I never feel like I'm listening to like dead ears. Like everyone's always really paying attention. And the things that they're doing well is that they're cutting out the middleman. So like they no longer need to go to old place that I used to work, but a CBC to write a story about something. If you're dropping out of a competition because you're injured, you can just post a video on your page now instead. And like you're talking directly to your audience. CBC is going to pick it up anyways. But instead of like having to feed stuff through the media, you can like feed everything through yourself. You can like control the messaging yourself, which is really powerful because it used to just be like you were athletes just competed, then they did interviews, and then like they were left at the hands of like whatever the media said about them. Whereas now they get to control the message a lot more. And you see people like Tara Davis Woodhull, who is a long jumper, like world champion, Olympic champion, and she's married to a Paralympian, and they have a full YouTube channel. And now they're known more as like influencers and creators, but they're also elite athletes, but they like control their own messaging, right? So I think like that's what athletes are doing best is that one, they're eager, they're competitive, and they can know how to control their own message now. They know they can do that. Where they need help is they don't have the time to learn how to do it, right? They just like, if you're in a pool 8 hours a day, like when are you going to have time to like learn how to edit on CapCut? It took me years to do that. And that was me posting every single day. So I lend my services and my brain and my knowledge and sometimes my physical editing skills in order to help them because they'll do the thing that you ask them to do. Like they'll shoot the video. It's just that they don't know how to do anything beyond
Like
that.
piece a story together.
Yeah, exactly. And also
Yeah.
like helping them piece their story together because they don't think they're interesting, which is crazy. All like you talk to an athlete, they don't think their life is that cool. Like
This is everyone though.
that's true.
This is everyone feels
You're
like
right.
that.
You're right. You just like because you only know your life and your like reality. So you're just like, oh, this is just my life. Like this is just how it works. But it's like objectively, especially athletes, you have cool lives where you travel all the time and you're going to all these cool places. Like people want to see that. And so if you're able to like capitalize on that, then like you're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like the whole like reason the business started was because of that.
So break down kind of how right now you split your time in terms of like, because you're doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's smart that you're doing a lot because the landscape is so volatile.
You have to.
And that's even like something I've taken into my business too. Like we have revenue from like 3 or 4 different sources at all times. I think of it as like smart ways of like diversifying. Like let's say if you were to invest, like how to invest and diversify it.
You wouldn't put everything in like one stock.
No, exactly. So what are you doing? How do you like manage it right now? Because you're fully independent, right?
Yeah. So I have a corporation. Sarah Jenkins Media is just like the name of the corporation. Here's how I divvy up everything. So right now, the TikTok content, like branded content stuff, like sponsor content, that is just always what has always kept the lights on, right? Like that is like gravy money to me. That has always been like, I used to work a full-time job and still do that stuff. So to me, I've always been able to manage doing both.
Wait, to back up though. And Jacob, manager Jacob.
Yes, manager Jacob.
Will bring you, shout out manager Jacob.
Shout out manager Jacob, who also co-hosts the podcast with me.
And he'll bring you the deals.
Yeah. So
that you're not like hunting your sales.
Yeah, it's funny because I will do that for other people. Like I help negotiate deals for athletes sometimes now, but I won't do it for myself because I'm really good at delegating. Like I don't need to do things when it comes to myself. So he manages everything when it comes to that day to day, any brand partnerships, whatever. He negotiates all of that. I also have Izzy and Jaden who work specifically for Sarah Jenkins Media, mostly on the podcast right now. Like I don't edit the podcast. I barely touch the recording usually. I truly am just talent on the podcast. And then they do any guest bookings. They run the social. They do all of that. And I can then just focus on being a host.
That's so nice.
And so then they help with the pod, which is great that we're now making money on it. So now, because I pay them to do that, obviously. And they both started as interns for me. And then like I brought them on as part-time. So they handle all of that. So that gets all of that stuff out of the way. And then I can just focus on like what I need to focus on, which is growing my like content business. Because like I went from a full-time job where like I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks no matter what. Whereas now, as you know, if I'm not working, I'm not making money. If anything, I'm losing money because I'm like paying to keep lights on. I'm paying to keep everything alive. So it's like I'm losing money if I'm not making money. So the first few months of the year was a lot of just like networking and like a lot of just like outreach and like just like trying to get my name out there. And then for the athletes, right? And like, and that's the only way that it will start. And then once that starts, then like once you have one client, it's so much easier to get the next and the next and the next, right? It starts to snowball after that. So right now I have my business in a few different ways. I have one athlete that is on a retainer rate that I manage their social completely, but then I also like have separate rates for when I do like events with them and whatever. But they're like my like A1 priority athlete right now, just because like they are like the person I work with the most. So that's great because that's like I know my income from them for the next year.
Yeah.
And then in other parts of the business, I have other clients that are coming on. Like as of literally this week, I signed like 2 new clients. So those are both going to be one of them's
a win.
One of them's one of them's a short-term retainer rate, like it's only a seasonal gig, and then it will be day rates for like content shoots moving forward, which is great. So again, I'm going to 2026 knowing that the business is making at least this much money. And then there's another like client that's also, I'm going to have 3 retainer-based clients to start off 2026.
Great.
And then from there, everything else is like one-off. So I have a couple athletes that I work with like very once in a while. Like if they have a shoot they have to do, like a branded content shoot, they pay me for a day rate. Those come up like once a quarter usually. And I have a handful of those. So those are always floating around. I'd say once a month, I will at least have my 3 retainer clients, if not more, and then a handful of like one-off opportunities, whether it's like a speaking gig for Volleyball Canada or a speaking gig at a university or like those types of things as well. So that's how it like builds out the business. And then on top of it, I just signed another Olympic contract. So I still consult for my old employer, CBC. So I work with them still on a weekly basis. I just don't really like talk about it. It's just like, but I still consult and work with them. And I created a job for myself on the Olympics there.
We're not mad about an extra paycheck.
No, 100%.
Especially because you're probably like, it's probably like second nature.
It is.
Everyone.
I know everybody there. I've done it before. And for me, it's incredible because I'm like, between all of that, like guaranteed somewhat, like I have contracts in place. So yeah, it's like guaranteed income set for 2026. I'm already baseline now going to make enough money to like sustain and run the business for all of 2026.
Good.
And I already know that. So then that's great because then everything
Takes
else
the
is
edge off.
100%. No, everything else is just bonus. And then it's like how well I do these things will help turn into other work. And like what I'm doing on the Olympics this time is literally what I do with athletes, like I'm going to be helping the Olympic talent and the creators that come in and work on the Olympics create content. So I'll be managing all of those relationships. Then that could then turn into like more business as well. So I think like right now, majority of my brain is just on the business because like the creator, like TikTok, like I don't need to like be a bigger influencer. Like I'm perfectly fine with like the level I'm at right now. Like obviously I don't want to lose followers, but I don't need to gain anything else. I'm down just to like sit where I am right now and like continue to grow things. I'd love to grow like the podcast, but
Yeah.
like I don't need my TikTok account to grow. Like I don't care about that right now. Right now I care about the business becoming sustainable and figuring out workflows and ways that I can use the girls that work for me and then like use other contract employees to help like grow and start building it because that's going to be phase 2.
Do you want to like pull a sick bird situation where you like have people work for you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I
Yeah, you
think
can't do it all by
oh
yourself.
no
You
no no.
gotta like basically create a playbook
Exactly.
and then grow it out.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
now, like with all the new clients, I've like let them know about that because like the girls that work for me specifically, like they are incredible at like editing social content and whatever. So it's like I've told them like sometimes it won't be me physically doing it. All the ideas still come from me, but it's like
Yeah.
it won't be me physically editing a video for you. Maybe on a shoot day, I send Jaden or Isabel, whatever it might be. But yeah, I need to. Because it's a service-based business, which it can't just be you that does it because you can never grow that way. So now I need to start looking at the next year of like, what's that next step we take? Because this year was solely just me. How do I then like, okay, am I going to have enough work that we can then like build out? What is that next
It's
year?
the
look
hardest
like?
thing.
It's the hardest part.
thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like though, if you get someone who's like, and I hate to say it, I had an ego around this being like, I'm the best and there's no one better than me.
It's tough though. I'm the same way.
Like, I'm like,
or that can
I'm
do like the amount of things that I can do. It's
yeah.
hard.
But here's the thing.
There are.
There are.
I know. I know.
Like when we started hiring like specialized editors, I was like, oh, I'm actually shit at
I
this
know.
job and I need
It's
to like
because
give
you
it
and I are
up.
very similar. Like and I'll admit it, I am not like an expert literally at anything. I am
No.
very good at a lot of different things. And I'm sure if I put all my effort into one thing, I could excel and become an expert at the thing. But I've just never been interested in that. Like I've always wanted to just do a lot of things really well rather than be like a one-trick pony expert at one thing.
Yeah.
So what I need to do though my next like era of this business is like figuring out where I have the gaps and what takes up the most time and brain capacity for me, because brain capacity is the bigger one for me. Like where can I like offset that to then help whatever that next step looks like, which I don't even know what the next step looks like. I literally just started this, like I left my full-time job 1 year ago, like this week.
You have so much work.
That's crazy. 1 year ago this week. So it's like I'm only 1 year into this.
Yeah.
So and I didn't even in the first few months of this year, I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna ever have a client. It took me like 4 months. I'm like, I'm never gonna have a client. And so it's
You
like,
just have to remain calm.
yeah, it was tough.
How's your mental?
It was horrible the first few months of the year. Also because simultaneously, because of like Trump threatening the 51st state and then like recession indicators and all this stuff, like no one was spending marketing dollars on like TikTok and Instagram, and also the potential TikTok ban
And
coming
the
down,
tariffs.
and the tariffs and everything. So
Yeah.
I wasn't making as much, look, and I wasn't trying to bank on my influencer money anyways, but I wasn't making as much influencer money too. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I just quit my job and I'm gonna be broke in 3 months, which was never gonna happen. But like you just start to spiral with it a little bit. Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, on a more happy note, who are the athletes you want to work with? Like if you could have like your pick,
Ooh.
like anyone's. Because here's the thing. I know nothing about sports, but I work in sports as well. So I need to catch up and kind of figure out everything.
I don't know. To be honest, like I never have like specific names because like I work in sports, but I don't like idolize athletes. I kind of like I've just covered them for a long time. Like I never really have. The types of it's more like the type of athlete I want to work with rather than like any specific. Like the type of athlete I want to work with is somebody that like is like super charismatic, super competitive, and like also has like a good like head on their shoulders to understand that, to have a business mindset, to want to grow whatever they're doing.
Like my dream club would be Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, I mean, like okay, my dream club might be Lewis Hamilton too. He's like he's a fave. How are we gonna do that?
Oh, I'll tell you off mic how I'm actively trying.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Lewis Hamilton. He was like I think my first crush because my grandfather made me watch Formula One every single Sunday with him.
I have been watching Formula One for years now. I'm obsessed
with him.
What about like a Noah Lyles? Is he too much? Do you work with him?
No, I don't work with Noah Lyles. He fascinates me. Do you know what though? He has a YouTube channel. He like is doing all the right things. He just sometimes goes a little bit too far with what he says. And I'm like, oh no, you were so close to the point. And then you just go a little too far. But I do think something like that is fun to work with because it's like, don't know what? Hell yeah, it's just running. Like at the end of the day, it's just sprinting. Go after it. I mean, I love that I work with like a lot of like female athletes. I think that's really big, especially because then I get to have a lot of fun with mixing like lifestyle influencer stuff with sports.
Yeah.
Which is the most fun because
that's
it's like
untapped market.
100%. That's what we're doing because it's like you look at someone that's like a world champion or like a Olympic champion and just like think that's their life. But it's like, no, they still like have their nails done all the time, or they still like love Love Island or like whatever it might be. They're just girls. And so I really am having a lot of fun working with female athletes that don't realize they can tap into their femininity in content.
That's so fun.
I know it makes it really fun, and it really bridges like the two worlds of like, because that's who I am. Like I love sports, but I like also love my hair extensions and my nails and like makeup and all of that stuff and like lifestyle content. I love Real Housewives, and like being able to like show athletes that they can also love all those things makes me really happy. So I think like female athletes that are like in that space, some of the tennis players I would love to work with. Like I love Iga. I'd love to work with Iga.
Who's that?
She's like a top 5 tennis player in the world. She's a big Swiftie, so her and I would get along very well. Yeah, but she's like, I saw her play at the U.S. Open, and she's just like killer instinct, and she's also just like so cute, but she's got a killer instinct. I don't know. I think like something like that would be cool. I just want to work with an athlete that can fly me to really cool places in the world.
I'm
So it's like
sending that
going to
energy
like,
over
and you like go to really cool events, like really cool places. That'd
Yeah.
be fun. I don't really work with any winter athletes right now too, so that would be kind of fun to do.
like a hockey situation.
Yeah, I mean, I covered hockey for so long and I know so much about hockey. There's a couple hockey players I've like done a little bit of work for. I've had like meetings with and stuff, but yeah, hockey would be fun just to also show that they have more personality than people think. But I love the core is like the Olympics is my shit, right? So like I love Olympians. Like that's who like are my people that I really want to work with. And they're the ones that I think like need the support a little bit more because they don't have the
No
support
one
of like a
knows
team.
Olympians.
And they don't have the support of like a team account behind them,
Yeah,
right?
okay, that's fair.
So like whereas the Toronto Maple Leafs have the Toronto Maple Leafs account helping them do content and supporting
Mhm.
them. Whereas like Olympians are by themselves. They don't have anyone. So like those are kind of my people.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is like what not to do if you're an athlete right now and you've seen it and you're like, oh, that's not the path.
Okay, so I was
No, you're ready with that.
I was
hot
like
take.
talking about how like yes, cut out the middleman and like you're correct. You do not technically owe anyone anything. But if you do want to continue to have like the most well-rounded brand on social, in media, whatever, you still can't like completely stonewall the traditional media. Like I came from traditional media, so I have a respect for it and I understand the value of it and I understand its place. Do I think it has as much value as it had before? No. It's a stock that's gone down a little bit. But is it a stock you completely get out of? No. Like they still are there. They still are storytellers. They're still people just trying to do their job as well. So I think like when athletes like walk through a mix and walk past people and think they're too good to talk to like NBC or the CBC or like whatever, like no one likes that like personality.
No.
Like that's just like not it. So I think like the number one things athletes do wrong, in my opinion, when it comes to content and media is like they just go completely on their own social and totally cut out the media part. You can still use the best is a symbiotic relationship of using both to your advantage.
Okay, and to that point, how do the journalists at like CBC and all of these different like large media companies, is there a reason their questions are normally a little like more surface level? Like how do we get deeper?
Okay, so from my like observations,
Yeah.
I used to cover the Leafs, right? Like, and I would stand there with my camera and like have to get the questions and then turn around and edit the video content. A lot of the issue is these journalists that have been doing this forever. They already have their story written. They're not looking for the athlete to give them an actual answer. The reason I'm going to ask Jade, how did you feel about the last 50 meters of your race? The reason I'm asking you that specific question that's like surface level is because I've already written a whole article about the last 50 meters of your race, and all I need is Jade's quote to fill it in.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
so when it's those questions, I just baseline assume, oh, you've already written the article in your head, whether it's
That's
in your
tea.
head or physically written it. Most of the time it's physically written it, but maybe in your head, you've already written the article. So you're just looking for a quote to fuel your article. Look, we've all done it. We've all like, there's days that you just like, especially if you're on a beat, you don't like want to like come up with a new unique thing every single time. But that is at the time, like that's a little bit lazy to be like asking these like boring questions. Also, to be fair, I think as someone that manages mix zones now or like manages scrums, sometimes like the person in charge, like me, is not giving you a lot of time, right? I'm giving you one question. And so you have to get like your one question that you know you'll get whatever answer you want out of, right? Like you don't always have time for follow-ups either. But again, if you invest like in the athlete and like tell good stories, like show that you care, then like we'll give you more time later. Like it's not that difficult. It's like a mutual relationship, you know?
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting the changing of the guard of like how old school journalists feel what they feel like they're owed
Yeah.
versus what the athletes actually owe them, because I don't think they owe them a lot, to be honest.
Oh.
I know.
Well, what would you say to someone now trying to get into this industry? Like, as you talk to schools and stuff and, like, programs, like, what are you telling the girlies to do?
Well, I spoke to a school last week, and the number one thing I always tell them is just, like, tangible hard skills. So, like, the
Yeah.
fact that, like, you and I set up this entire podcast, set up in my living room, we don't have anyone else here doing
No.
it for us, and we can do this and create, like, quality content,
Mhm.
that's because we have the tangible skills to do it, and I don't have those if I don't take certain classes in order to do it. The only reason I became a video producer and got my first job at Yahoo, where I was able to even be on camera and talk to people, was because I knew how to edit, I knew how to shoot, I knew how to do social, I knew how to do graphics, I knew how to do everything. And all that's happening, and you see this too, is like if you used to hire a graphic designer, a video producer, and a social media person, that's all one job now. So like
Yeah.
everything's just shrinking. So you just need to make sure that you have both tangible, also the create like lots of people have creative strategy ideas. Like for me, I had a meeting yesterday, and like it was the biggest compliment. Like the client said to me, she said the reason that they like working with me is they said a lot of consultants come in and charge a lot of money just to give us a list of ideas that we have to execute, but like you stay on board and actually execute them. Or like I come and like teach you how to execute it, because then the goal is you don't need me one day because I've like taught you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's because I don't have an ego about it. And so I
Yeah.
think like that's another thing, is just like everyone has ideas. Everyone has ideas, but it's like
Mhm.
actually being able to physically make them yourself and show rather than tell is really important.
I agree. And what about I always tell my team too, it's like with editing and like all of this setup, like it's just gonna get easier with technology, like as it's
100%.
improving. So just keep up with it.
Well, and
Like
everybody has an iPhone. We're using an
every
iPhone as one of the cameras
using
today.
using one of the iPhones and like even with like AI making editing easier,
100%.
captions being automated,
Yeah.
like things are easier.
Oh my God. Captions being automated. When I edited at Yahoo, that was the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Like literally some of the reasons I had to stay late was just because I was so miserable having to manually add
Yeah.
captions into a video. So the fact that that is like, it's so good that it even knows when to capitalize things now, whatever. It's like, I'm very envious because like think of how much time I would have saved.
I know.
It's insane.
Give me your top tools for like your production suite. If I was like, you have like a top 5 tools that you can use for everything.
Okay. Number one, I swear by CapCut. I think
Okay.
CapCut, I've tried Adobe Rush. I've tried, and I'm an Adobe girl editing on a computer.
I am Adobe
Like
too.
Premiere Pro is like the
Yep.
best program for editing
Pods.
on a computer, podcast with
Yeah.
multicam, everything. Plugins that you can get, but when it comes to like editing on my phone, CapCut is the best and most user-friendly tool ever for editing 9:16 video content. It also does have a desktop version, so you can like drag and drop and you can like use on both.
Do you use it on desktop?
Only when I need to make like more fine-tune edits, and I'm like sometimes don't want to use my phone for it. Captioning, things like that. Sometimes I'll just do it on my computer, but 99% of the time I'm doing everything, all branded content from my phone. Just 'cause it's easier. And then it's easier for me to make an edit on the go. Like I can be like out shopping and Jacob goes, "Oh, you need to like edit these captions." Bang, 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 done, and I send it off.
That's
It's so much easier.
nice.
So CapCut is my number one. And there's so much, like I don't even scratch the surface on what I can do in that app. So much. It's what I teach everyone when you're learning how to edit. That is probably A1. Premiere Pro, I'd say, is A2 when it comes to like long form content, or anything that I want to do that's more like cinematic or like whatever. The Adobe suite in general.
Yeah.
I was a diehard Photoshop girl. Now I'm a diehard Canva girl.
Really? You've
Swear by Canva.
Canva Pro
Canva
though.
Pro. No, not regular Canva. Yeah, it has to be Canva
You need to
Pro.
remove that background.
Yes. No, 100%. Canva Pro, again, is like, there are people that I know that are graphic designers
Yeah.
that like have completely made the switch because it is so easy. And then so for me, like what I do is like, it's so, the mobile app is also so easy.
I haven't used it.
Oh my God, it's so easy. So like I was in the south of France when one of my athletes was competing at the world championships. I had pre-built all of the graphics for her, like for every medal she was going to win. I'm like literally sitting with like a glass of Prosecco in the south of France. And I'm like streaming her race. I have my sunglasses on. I'm like at this beautiful like restaurant in Nice, La Plongeoire. Like it was so bougie. And I'm like watching and I go, oh, she just won another gold medal. Pull out my phone. I like make the graphic and it's posted to her social thing in like 5 minutes.
Amazing.
And so like I'd say learning how to utilize all of the things within Canva is also, and not like templates. Like there are templates that you can like take and rip, but like learn how to like make stuff from scratch yourself.
As someone who's a producer, I recognize a Canva template a mile
you
away.
well, you can tell the
You
fonts,
can
you can tell everything.
see.
But you can also like for me, my podcast, we built everything through Canva, but we have our own brand kit. We imported our own fonts. We paid somebody to do the initial like design of
Yeah.
the pod, but then he gave me everything that I could just import there. It just makes it easier for like a social team, I think. But yeah, you can spot like a Canva template from a mile away. So you have to learn how to build stuff yourself. But I would say Canva's number 3. I don't really know. I think everything else is just like learn how to properly shoot on your phone, like video content.
Do you use lights?
Sometimes today we didn't have to use them because there's enough lighting in this apartment, but I just have panel lighting from literally Amazon that I use.
Do you have a tripod?
Yes, phone tripod that I swear by.
Do you stick it to things, or is it like
I
this
have
one?
both. So this tripod that we're using right now is the one I use, and it folds up really small, which is what I love. I also have an Octo Buddy that I swear by on my phone because that
What's an
turns
Octo Buddy?
an Octo Buddy is like literally, where's my phone? Where did I put it? I don't even know where it is.
Okay.
This is the most like me thing ever. I have no idea where my phone is ever. I An Octo Buddy like sticks to the back of your phone, and it's
Okay.
it's like a suction cup, and then it turns every window or glass surface into a tripod essentially. So for me, I have all these windows in this apartment, so I stick it to the window, and then I have beautiful lighting to film everything. It's the best. And like I use it or if you want a cool like shot of like driving, like you stick it to the window while you're driving and then you like speed that up later, or like there's like transition shots, like I don't know, I use the like time lapses. The Octo Buddy's great for everything. Those are the main things I use, but I don't use like a ring light. I don't use any of those lights. I just think like it's better to be like real and fast with getting something out than like having the most aesthetic, like whatever. Like just like put it out there and you can make it look better later. I think good content comes from like the storytelling and who you are and how you're doing it rather than just like, I don't know, spending hours upon hours adding this like effect in this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, last question before we move on. How do you get over the cringe?
I think I was really caught up in the cringe like even a couple years ago. I think
Really?
I think it's an age thing. I think I've gotten over the cringe. Well, one, when I first started on TikTok, because it was the pandemic, like everyone was at home. I didn't feel cringe at all doing it. Now I cringe looking back at my old videos. My guys, people, you followed me for this. But like I know at the time I was just like doing whatever. I used to feel cringe about things, I'd say up until a couple years ago, and I think it's an age thing. Like, you know, when you get older, you just stop giving a shit about what anyone thinks. Like,
Yeah.
I really think I hit like I'm 29, almost 30. When I hit
Don't
28,
say it because that's crazy. You're
no, I know.
almost 30. I'm almost 30.
I know, because you're only 6 months older than me. So
I
once you
know.
turn 30, then I know that I'm a
You're
turn 30.
right around the
Bye.
corner.
It's Haley turning 30 that like is the catalyst for it. When she turns 30,
We're
I go, oh, and we're going to her birthday party.
We're going to Haley's birthday party, our good friend Haley, tonight, which is crazy. She's already turned 30.
Yeah, because she's like a month and a bit older than you, right? Month and a half.
Yeah.
So it's like I now know, okay, then I'm like, oh, I'm like in that next wave. But I just think I turned 28 and I stopped feeling cringe. I stopped really giving a shit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really feel like I don't dance on the internet though. Like I don't do anything like, you know what I mean? Like I don't do like I also don't do like challenges or like trends. So I feel like maybe that protects me from the cringe a little bit. But yeah, I don't really care anymore, especially now that I like tangibly can prove that I've like grown a thing and it's successful. So I don't think, why? Do you like cringe at yourself?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me that you cringe at yourself.
Like I get like the cringe in my stomach.
Oh my God.
Because
you shouldn't though.
Well, I was raised in like a British household. That it's a bit different.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's
it's a bit different. It's
that's
like
fair.
But I think
you're like objectively cool and very successful. So I would not feel cringe to be you ever.
Thank you. That's very
like
nice
I want to be you when I grow up. So it's crazy that you get cringe because
I get a lot of cringe.
That's crazy.
But what I will say, I read something recently that said cringe is the price of admission.
It's fucking truth. It's the truth. Because think of like, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
Every I ask 40 minutes and when I've been swearing the whole time.
Yeah.
It's the truth though, because it's like putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And like there's girls that like I follow that are like comedy accounts as an example. And like they do that's actually why I stopped thinking cringe. I just figured it out. Okay. I do improv. That's why.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing improv for 2 full years now, like once a week at least. And that got rid of my cringe. Because to get the biggest laugh, you have to like do the most ridiculous stuff. And I just like, at that point, you're like relinquishing control and like you realize you're not too cool for anything and you just like say or do whatever. And like when I don't have anything in my brain to do on stage, like when I'm performing in front of a crowd, like my go-to is either screaming or throwing myself to the ground. And like, cause I know I know it's really hard for you to picture me doing this, but I do it weekly. Like last week I had to play a troll under a bridge. Like I know, and then I say it and my friends are like, what the fuck? Like can't picture it. But then like if you saw it, you'd be like, oh, that actually like makes a lot of sense. But it's like you just like relinquish all cringe and all control. But it's like the idea, the cringe is the price of admission. The cringe is the price of the laugh in improv.
True.
But I think that's probably when my cringe went away. I turned 28 and I started doing improv.
What
No
a
more cringe.
good duo.
Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
It's been the best for my mental health. It just like lets you like not think about anything. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I might actually do that next year
You should do it.
when I move to New York.
Yeah. Oh, you
Find
could
the
do it at
role.
UCB. I would come with you and take class at UCB. That's my dream because that's what Amy Poehler started.
I'm
United
obsessed with her.
Citizens Brigade.
Brigade.
That's like her studio she started, and I would like kill to take classes there. I'm
Okay.
obsessed with her.
Maybe we do that next year.
I would love if they have like a weekend intensive or like a week thing and I could come.
Yeah.
You know, it would be amazing. 'Cause, like,
Okay.
improv scene in New York is crazy, and I just want to go experience it.
Yeah, like I'm not good, obviously.
like-
but I don't think you have to be.
Good is like an objective thing too. Like there are people that like granted, if you like you can't have a bunch of people on stage together that like don't understand the structure of improv because
You have to yes and.
yes, and not even just that, you have to understand the structure in which yes and exists. So the biggest facade of improv is that we just go on stage and make up everything we're doing. That's not true. There's always a structure you're following. Like you're making up the storyline and the character and whatever. But like a podcast, like you and I know the structure of a podcast,
Yeah.
but we're just talking within that structure. Improv is the exact same. So like there's different structures. So, like there's games. I'm currently in a show that every week we do something called the party. So every week we go on stage and ask everyone to give us an idea for a party. We have done an office party. We've done a Christmas party. We've done a Halloween party. So we always know we're doing a party and we know the structure of how the story's gonna go. There's like gotta be a conflict and then there's gotta be this and then everyone comes together at the end of the party. But it's just a different idea in different setting and different characters every time. We just don't know how we're gonna get there, but we know the structure, you
I
know?
love this.
Rapid fire.
Rapid
Okay.
fire. Who are the most underrated creators in the sports world right now?
In the sports world.
Well, anywhere. I'll open it up for you.
Okay. I think Coach Jackie, I think is her name in the sports world. She does like updates on women's sports and she just like is the perfect example of what the next gen journalist is going to be.
Love.
She's wonderful.
I love this. Okay. What's something people get wrong about working in social media?
I think people get wrong that the only way to have a creative strategy is just to hop on trends.
Okay. What's the smartest business move you've seen an athlete make outside of the sports world?
Investing in a team around them. Like
Cool.
I think athletes who want to have longevity are smart and think about investment that might feel like expensive in the moment or short-term pain, but for the long-term gain of then they will turn that into them becoming a creator and having a whole other source of income. So I think when they actually invest in a team, that's like the smartest thing that athletes do. And that's not just selfishly because I'm on a team now. I just think it's like that's the smartest thing that they can do if they want it, because you can't manage it yourself. You have to delegate. Like you got to
Fair.
give up a little bit of coin now to make more later, you know?
Okay. I like this. What is your biggest holy shit behind the scenes moment from producing content?
Oh, Jesus. I have those daily, it feels like. Like producing for other, like holy shit in what context? Like holy shit, like
I can't believe this is where my life is. This is so crazy.
Okay.
We did this.
I think just like as cheesy as just like when I was at the Olympics.
That's
Like, because I've worked 5 Olympics, but only 1 on site, and it was Paris. And it was the opening ceremony. I was there to cover social content for the opening ceremony. It was pouring rain. It was the first time we've ever done the opening ceremony completely outside on the Seine. And I didn't care that it was pouring rain and I was the most drenched I've ever been in my life. And I like had this moment where I was like shooting content and I was like shooting Team Canada on the boat and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm at the Olympics. Like that was just it. It was like my moment of like, holy shit, I made it. Like that
Did
was
you
like,
cry?
I didn't. Well, I might have. I couldn't tell between the rain. I might have cried. I didn't know. I don't know if I cried. I just like was so in the Olympics. I was very proud of myself because every moment I made sure of myself. I was so in the moment. It's really easy, and like the rat race of content and like running around and like especially at Olympics, it's so hectic and crazy the whole time. Like I was working like 18-hour days every day, but I really allowed myself to like sit in it. And like when I was at a moment that I knew I wanted to remember, I really like took it in. And so I think that was my like holy shit. I had a bunch of holy shit moments during the Olympics. And I think the biggest one was like probably the first one, which was at the opening ceremony, even though it was a horrible weather and everyone's like, oh my God, it must have been horrible. I go, it was wonderful. I loved the opening ceremony. If I had that much fun in the rain, imagine how nice it would have been.
Mindset's everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I love
100%.
you.
I
Thank
love
you
you
for joining. This was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow us on socials at Bird's Eye Pod and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We launch new episodes every single week.